again. Welcome to this channel, and my name is Lina, and we are telling ourselves through these episodes that we will blossom despite. And we are telling ourselves, despite the challenges that we went through in our childhood, that we are going to blossom. We are going to become everything that we ought to be. And we are doing this by looking at our childhood bruises. And today we are going to look at bruise number 3. If you haven't watched the previous episodes where we have been talking about the previous bruises, you can go back and see. And what we are telling ourselves is that we need to look back in order to move forward. That it's good and it's prudent to go back to our childhood and check what maybe happened that could be contributed to the person that we are showing up to in the world today. And as I always do, I love storytelling. So I've created characters, and these are not real people, and these are not real stories, but it's a reflection of how we are going through life. And as you'll be looking at the bruise of today, we are going to look at the bruise of shame. And our person or our character today is a girl known as Tanya. Tanya is a very hardworking lady. She's in her late 20s and she's working class, okay? And Tanya is walking through the streets. Let's think, maybe it's the streets of Nairobi or in her town. And she's walking with her head low. She's looking down and avoiding eye contact in a busy street, but she's walking very fast. But behind the busyness, because you can see she's purpose-driven, she's walking, she's headed somewhere, all right? That there are voices that are speaking down to her, and they are whispering that you'll never be good enough. You'll never amount to everything that is needed in life. And besides her achievements and great successes and she has even received many awards at her workplace. She's been recognized because of her performance. She's deeply wounded. She has quiet wounds, and that wound is the wound of shame. This wound has been very persistent in her. It's been paralyzing, but it's invisible to the world. Only her who knows what has been driving her. But this did not occur to her until she went for therapy, until she realized that she's on the first lane of life, doing so much, but never feeling fulfilled in the inside of her. She's achieving and she's applauded, she's received trophies, and in her workplace there are all these, boards showing the best performer of the year. But inside of her, she's feeling crippled and not fulfilled by her achievements. And so, Tanya flashes back at her life, and she's eager to think, what could have happened that I feel the way I feel today? And she remembers an experience that she had back in school when she answered a question, and the teacher had come with a picture that is ambiguous. It was creative art lesson. And the teacher came with a picture of something that was ambiguous. And since she was sitting at the back, the teacher said, "Okay, Tanya, tell us what you think this drawing is or this picture is about." And Tanya, she was tall, so she kind of didn't like being put on the spot. But because the teacher had put the spotlight on her, she stood up and she said, "I think that is a gazelle." And the class burst in laughter. But what really hurt her most is that the teacher joined the students to laugh. And that really broke her. She really felt ashamed. The laughter broke her. And at this point, I would pause and think to ask you, what could be something that a teacher did or said to you when you're growing up, and that moment broke you? I know we have wonderful teachers that we've gone through their hands, but there stands one. I think there's always that one. I remember there was another line that was trending some time back, teacher of math. I'm not saying math teachers are bad, but there's that one teacher who maybe said something that really put us on the spot and brought shame to us. And I would pause here and say, adults don't realize how words they say to children, how they break them or build them. The people that children look up to, when they become the voices of putting them down, really breaks them. And this is where Tanya found herself, that instead of the teacher acknowledging of her effort, on her brilliance, because it was an ambiguous picture. Anybody could have seen different things, like other students were saying different things. But when the teacher joins in laughter to a child, it really breaks the child. And this is what this spoke to Tanya. That moment told Tanya that you're not worthy, that you have made a mistake. But as the time went by, that you have made a mistake became, I am a mistake. I have done a mistake and I am the mistake and I'm unfixable. And you know what? That's what shame does to us. Shame does not separate us with a mistake. You see, when we have done something and we feel guilty, guilt tells us you have done a mistake. So that separates us with what we did. But shame puts us in one box and we become that symbol of the mistake and we become the mistake. So what was communicated to Tanya is that you are a mistake. And that's where Tanya started fearing trying things. And she would feel ashamed of trying even simple things because she would tell herself, well, I cannot get it. I am a mistake. Okay? And can I tell you that perfection, when we have done a mistake, we think it's the one that should fix the mistake. But as I have said in earlier episode, that there's nothing like perfection. Because when we embrace perfection, thinking, if I do it better, if I think better next time, if I give it the best of shots, then we think that the perfection in what we do is going to make us come out better. But instead, perfection becomes a shield. And that shield does not protect us, but that shield keeps us away from what is good of life. Like it becomes a barrier of us experiencing life fully. So we see that this bruise of shame whispered to Tanya, and it told, and every time in life she would tell herself, if only they knew me. Every time she wanted to try something and people are calling her to maybe to hang out with them, or friends want to do something with her, and she would tell herself, if only they knew the real me, they would not love me. I'm not lovable. All right? And so what happened to Tanya is that she hid behind success. I don't know if you may be Tanya today, that you choose to take the lane of winning and winning and win. You can't stop until you win. And you think that success, it's not bad to succeed, but being defined by success. So the day that you fail, you feel so ashamed and are unable to forgive yourself. And you become afraid to be truly seen for who you are. Yeah? But there's hope. Just like for Tanya, the path of healing for Tanya if she came to my counseling room today is that she can begin from the place where she names her shame. She asks herself, where did this shame start? How did I get to this place? What happened? And at that point, she'll need to own her story. How does she own her story? By acknowledging what happened. When we acknowledge that something happened that left us feeling ashamed, is the first place of self-acceptance that, yes, this happened. I went through this experience and I really felt so much shame. But also, she needs to come out and stop hiding. I love reading and listening to a lady called Brené Brown. And she says that shame thrives. Shame needs two ingredients to keep growing. It needs secrecy and silence. Shame needs secrecy and silence. The moment we choose to keep quiet about what happened to us, the moment we silently go through life and look at life saying, I wish people could know who I am or what I went through, they will not value me. And so we keep hiding. Then shame thrives. It grows and it defines us. And so we live life not fully. We live life wearing that mask and we pursue success. But when we close the door behind us, once we get to places where we are alone, we are crying, we are crushed, and we are wondering, why can't I enjoy life? But it's because we have covered our shame and are not owning our story. So I'll tell Tanya, and I'll talk to you, my friend. I don't know if you're a representation of Tanya, or maybe you know a friend who has gone through what Tanya went through. I'll tell you that healing will begin when you own your story. When we own our stories, accept that this is what happened to me. Okay? But also challenge the beliefs. I always say it's good to challenge the beliefs that we have been telling ourselves that I am not good enough, that's why these people did this to me. When we start challenging those beliefs, if they are not working for us, then we start the journey of healing. And we have to remember that the tag of shame, we can take it off. We don't have to go through life wearing that tag. That what others did to us does not have to define us. What they think about us, it doesn't have to define us. And I'm reminded of another experience. I love watching real life stories. And Steve Harvey, for those who have watched his podcast and his conversations, he talked of an experience where in his preschool, the teacher told them, a teacher in a class told them, write what you want to become when you grow up. And every child wrote and they gave the pieces of paper to the teacher. And when the teacher read his dream, because he wrote on the paper that I would like to be on TV. And the teacher laughed and she made the whole class to laugh. And the teacher called him in front of the class and told him, you want to be on TV? That's what you dream to become? Who in your family has been on TV? Who in your community has been on TV? Who in your neighborhood has been on TV? And that time, Steve Harvey used to have a stammer. So every time the teacher would ask a question, he would stammer. And the teacher would tell him, look at yourself, you can't even speak one word straight. And that really brought so much shame on him. And he was crushed. But he had to come to that place of telling himself that this shame does not define me. And I will become that which the teacher told me that I will not become. And look where he is. He's doing very well. And you see, that story no longer defines him. He didn't keep quiet about what happened to him. And it's through his story, retelling his story, owning his story, that even other people get encouraged to know that I can go through shame, but that shame does not define me. So my friend, I want to tell you, like Tanya, that you can come out, own your story, Don't keep quiet about it. Please look for somebody you can trust to share your story of the shame of what you went through. Because if you keep quiet, it's going to define who you are. Remember, all of us are imperfect, but we are also beautiful. We are valued because of our humanness. Our humanness is full of imperfection. And as I finish, I'll give a quote from one author. She's called Amy Bloom, and she says that you are imperfectly and permanently and inevitably flawed, but you are beautiful. That's who you are, my friend. So a Bible verse to finish, and I'll say from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 7, it says, like jars of clay, we have cracks, but the light of God shines through our cracks. We are all broken, but it's through the brokenness of our lives that we are beautiful and the light shines. And remember, you're worthy of love exactly as you are, and you belong. Thank you, my friend. See you next time. Let's continue with the conversation and tell ourselves that shame does not have to define us. Let's talk. Let's own our stories. Let's rewrite our story. Let's talk about it and share with one another, so that through our healing, others can heal. Through our stories, maybe somebody is waiting to hear what you may have gone through, so that they can go through their own healing. So let's continue chatting. Let's continue having this conversation. And I believe that we can take back the pen and write our stories. We will blossom despite of our challenges. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.